YouTube gang. Today I'm going to be doing part 1 of What If. Sorry. Just doing something very traumatic. What if Tatsumi loved esdeath? So this is part 3. I don't really have anything to explain. Let's hop right into this what if. So basically, Tatsumi is going to find a newer, deeper love for esdeath because let's just go right into this what if. I don't know where we left off, so I'm just going to be making a map. So, Tatsumi asked esdeath what's going on with her stomach in front of the Jaegers. And she asked Tatsumi, what do you think is going on with my stomach? Let me, okay, I'm doing some weird stuff, okay? What do you think is going on with my stomach? Well, maybe, okay, I'll be right back. Tatsumi runs to his room. He comes back with a black leather book with brown stripes on the back. Guideline, how to have sex. Tatsumi scrolls through the book's pages. As he reaches one point, he says, yes. Okay. If you are nauseous and throw up and other stuff like that, that should indicate some symptoms to pregnancy. Are you pregnant? As his eyes widen, she asks, are you that stupid? And Tatsumi just looks at her peacocked. What do you mean? You don't know what happens when you have sex, do you? Okay. So when a man and woman get together in intimate love and passion, if they decide that they go too far and they don't bear the consequences, they'll come. When they come, they'll get pregnant. Or if you wear this plastic phobia orange thing, you probably won't get pregnant. But that's not really going to save you from getting pregnant because, you know, sometimes you can get too much cum out of your, stuff, and then it overflows, and then the girl might get pregnant. So that's basically what I'm trying to tell you. So what are I know this. The consequences of getting pregnant is you have a child. You have to raise that child, and for God forsaken, you do not kill him. What? Who kills the? Tatsumi, just go back upstairs. Okay. As Tatsumi walks off into the trail, esdeath has to go on a mission. Tatsumi has been looking for esdeath as he trailed esdeath to a nearby barn where they have a bed and stuff like that. Tatsumi walked inside of the barn where esdeath was. As esdeath asks, what are you doing? You're supposed to be at the palace. I didn't want to stay there. I wanted more of you. No, Tatsumi. You heard me? You heard I'm pregnant. I don't care. It's not like I really care about having a kid. It would be pretty nice, but what I'm trying to say is I want a kid, but I don't want to stop our intimate love. What? But aren't you going to raise him? You're going to have to be a home mother. What? Of course not. Why? That's not my stance. I'm not like that. Well, I don't care. You're going to have to be a home mother. As this fires off ice at Tatsumi, Tatsumi puts a crystal wall in front of him. As he jumps up from the crystal wall and takes out a sword, as that takes out her sword, kind of sword like tipsy / katana. I don't know what you would call it. As she starts to douse sword plus a sword. Get it? The swords that you douse with. Okay, it doesn't matter. As then clash, and as their blades then connect, some things in the taverns then blow away. Tatsumi jumps in the air and he creates an ice shield, or ice shields, as he throws them at esdeath, and then he disperses all of them as they fall. As they're falling from the sky, esdeath then jumps back. As he jumps out of the barn, Tatsumi creates an ice spear as he throws it out of the barn. This catches esdeath off guard as esdeath barely dodges it, and it hits the tree, and that tree kind of got spooned. As Tatsumi rushes out to where esdeath is, and he creates a couple more spears, and he throws it over at esdeath. Esdeath dodges all of these, but then one of the spears falls right in front of her. All of a sudden, crystals. The spear then dissipates as the spear turns into mere crystal spikes as they go flashing at esdeath. Esdeath puts up an ice wall right in front of her. Then she sees Tatsumi right behind her. As Tatsumi kicks her in the back rib, sending her flying back. Tatsumi rushes at esdeath as he uses his crystals as he swipes his sword. And crystals then come from the ground. He swipes his sword in another direction, and crystals come from that area. And he swipes his sword over esdeath's head, as crystals come from that area. Esdeath sees one opening as she's about to go out, as Tatsumi then body flickers right where she was about to go, and he punches her in the face, sending her flying back inside the crystals. Esdeath wipes the blood off of her lips, as Tatsumi then puts both of his hands together, and then he says Crystal Dome. As the place then as Tatsumi then creates a see-through dome with the spikes that he sent at esdeath. He puts his sword on the dome as he looks down at esdeath. Night Raid, who is on a mission, then Akame. Let's see, Akame. Dang it, I forgot. Akame and Mine? Or, Akame, Mine, and Bulat. Then see what Tatsumi just did to esdeath. As we then go back over to Tatsumi's perspective. I mean, we go to esdeath's perspective, as esdeath's looking through a glaring ball, as she asks Tatsumi to let her out. Politely, actually. Tatsumi says no. Then she asks him again in a seductive voice. Tatsumi then licks his lips as he says, "You're so hot right now." As esdeath then gets up, opening her general clothes, kind of, showing her tits. She then asks, "Please let me go," in a seductive voice. Tatsumi just looked at esdeath as he wiped the drool from his mouth. As all of a sudden, Tatsumi puts his hand on the ice dome, on the crystal dome. As then spikes then come out of the ground, as they then capture esdeath, so she can't move anymore, cutting parts of her clothes. Tatsumi then breaks the dome as he absorbs the dome, and he looks down at Esdeath. As he looks at Esdeath, he kisses her on the lips. As he then as he then puts his hand around her neck, and he tells her this is gonna hurt. As he rips Esdeath out of the crystal dome and slams her on the ground, Esdeath coughs out a little blood. As Tatsumi created, like, you know that a crystal stand, like, you know when Esdeath and Tatsumi were stranded on that island, and then she bring up that like crystal stand. Oh, they were on the mission of the Danger Beast. So yeah, so they're going. So the next part is going to be about the island that Tatsumi and what's her name are stranded on. So yeah, that ginormous dome. As Tatsumi then creates that, Eza sees this as her chance to escape, but like, how do I say this? She's been kind of strapped to the dome, as Tatsumi manipulates the crystals to his will, so that Esdeath will face him, looking him in the eye. Tatsumi asks, "So, what's the meaning of?" As he then senses Akame and the rest, even with their auras turned off. Akatsume then turns his eyes as he says, "How? I'd expect danger beasts, but I sense Akame. Who else? Bulat. And mine? Yeah, not expected." As they then try to run away, but then Tatsumi creates like you know how Kisame created that entire water orb? Tatsumi then creates a ginormous crystal orb surrounding them. "I could kill you now, obliterate you with my crystals." As crystal spikes then fry up from the ginormous crystal dome. Kill them now, Tatsumi." As Tatsumi then as one of Tatsumi's spikes from the dome that she's on then comes out, and it points into her neck, making some blood fall out. As Tatsumi says, "You're in no position to be telling me what to do." They then try to plead with Tatsumi, telling him, "Please join Night Raid." As they see Tatsumi's strength, he's able to take down Esdeath. Now, this is going to be the death of Bulat. As Tatsumi says no, as he puts his finger in a gun pose, and then a crystal spike then comes out, rushing at Akame. Bulat then tries to block the attack, but the attack just goes piercing through his shoulder. "What? How did you get through Incursio?" "Oh, that little thing? Huh. What did you expect? With a weak-ass thing like that, anybody could get through it." As Tatsumi then looks over at Bulat, and he says, "Well, I want to fight you. A battle to the death." As this then sends shiver, as Bulat then feels shivers down his spine. But he decides to be a manly man. And he says, "I'll fight you." Thinking about if he can defeat Tatsumi, he'll be able to grope him. Yeah, and it was stated, Bulat is, you know what? No offense, but Bulat is, yeah. So Tatsumi then rushes at Bulat, as he then stops in his tracks because he wants Bulat to come at him, so he can completely annihilate him. As Bulat then rushes at Tatsumi with his Incursio staff, as he's trying to cut Tatsumi down. Tatsumi keeps dodging as when Bulat went for the slice to the arm, Tatsumi just turned that arm. Tatsumi easily dodged, as he created a crystal, He surrounded his arms with crystal as crystal spikes came out of them, and he punched Bulat in the face, breaking off that part of Incursio's armor. As he then creates like a pun-up, you know. He then creates a shield, a spiky shield, as he slaps this into Bulat's head, as in all of Bulat's mask, Incursio mask, then comes off. Tatsumi takes out his sword as he says, "Are you ready for utter annihilation?" Mine and Akame are shocked. Taking out Bulat that fast is unheard of. As Tatsumi then swings down his sword and he chops off Bulat's vest. Bulat then falls on one knee as he says, "Wait, let me do something before I die." As Tatsumi just looks at him with a puzzled face. As Bulat moves closer to Tatsumi, he tries to pull down Tatsumi's pants so he can suck his cock. As Tatsumi then gets mad, he grabs Bulat's head as he says, "Do not take this offensive. Please do not take this offensive. It's just a what if." So yeah, please don't take this offensive. As Tatsumi then grabs Bulat's head and he yells, "You mother earth." I decided to not say, that word, because, there might be some of y'all who are, and I feel like that'd be offensive, so I'm not gonna say it. He then looks at Bulat as he yells, "You G mother ger," and he then freezes Bulat's, as he then puts his crystal around Bulat's head, and a crystal spike then comes out of his hand as he stabbed Bulat straight through the head. Bulat's body then starts to freeze in the crystal as it's fully frozen. Tatsumi then punches the crystal dome as Bulat's body is completely annihilated. Akame and mine then back up as Tatsumi says, "Don't worry, I said I wouldn't kill you. How many men do you have left? About 2. Including that Labuk." As we then see Labuk at the top. "Somebody say my name." As Labuk then creates a spear and he throws it down at Tatsumi. Tatsumi then turns around and he says, "Oh, this should make y'all run off." As he throws his spear at after he dodged Bullock's attack, he throws a crystal spear at Labuk. And this is like really fast, so Labuk can't dodge as it goes straight through Labuk's chest, like in the middle of his body. In the middle of his chest. As Labuk then starts to fall. But Tatsumi then catches Labuk as he throws Labuk all the way across the room, making sure not to kill Labuk. Tatsumi then says, if you don't, I'm going to shorten the process. So if you don't leave in approximately 5 minutes, at best, your friend Labuk's insides will completely be crystallized. See what I did? See what I did there? Yeah, I don't think anybody cares. As Tatsumi then makes an opening, and he says, "Go." As Akame and mine then leave, quickly rushing back to their base. Because let's say that the base isn't that far from here. They then put Labuk on the table as they say, "We need help. Labuk's gonna die." What? Get a doctor in here. How's Labuk gonna? Because his insides were being crystallized. That could only mean. Dang, y'all ran into Tatsumi? Yeah, we did. Well, try to take the spear out. Okay, as it didn't hit any organs or anything vital or anything like that. It just killed a couple of cells. As they try to take it out, Lebuckton yearns and yells. As they didn't stop, Leona says, I know it can get him. Can't believe I'm gonna do this, but if it's gonna save him. As Leona then gets on top of Lebuck and she pulls down his pants. She then pulls down her panty, I guess, because she doesn't really wear pants, now that I think about it. As she just jumps right on Lebuck, and when she's about to do it for a second time, she then tells Akame, take the sword, take it out now. As she then falls back down on Lebuck's cock, and they take the crystal sword out simultaneously. As Lebuck then yells / moans. Like, he yells like, I can't believe I'm doing this. Like a Hisoka moan. Yeah, a Hisoka moan, just way louder. And softer. You know? Because Hisoka's kind of weirds me out. Like, he needs to chill. Like, every time this guy sees Gon, he goes like, oh, okay, that sounded, okay. So now, Tatsumi, the doctor then takes a look at his insides, and he says, parts of his lungs have been crystallized. We're going to have to do a top-notch surgery. If the crystals can't come up, if there's a chance that a part of the crystals have seeped into his lungs and they're covering it up, we'll see immediately. But there's a the way that these crystals were moving, there's a 59% chance. I mean, there's a 70 no. There's an 88% chance that it will fail, and a 12% chance that we will not. Lebuck? Oh well. You don't have a choice. As Akame then knocks him out, and she says, yes, we will do the surgery. Okay. But if he dies, as Lebuck then, he still has a little bit of consciousness, and he says, if I die, Akame, when I see you in the next life, I'm gonna murder you brutally. Oh, shut it. As he then gets punched in the head. Don't hurt him like that. He might die. The doctor says. It was a woman who said that. Because don't matter. As Tatsumi then turns back to esdeath and he says, now, where were we? As he licks his lips. As this one ending off this one, if like, comment, subscribe, share to all of your friends on your social media platforms. YouTube, we're out. Peace. Still see your shadows in my room. Can't take back the love that I gave you. It's to the point where I love and I hate you, and I cannot change you, so I must replace you. Easier said than done. I thought you were the one listening to my heart instead of my head. You found another one, but I am the better one. I won't let you forget me.